Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls, the most massive characters are seared with scars. It's a quote from Khalil Gibran. What does that mean to you, Mason, when you hear that?
Oh man, I do think there's a lot of truth to it for sure. I think pain is life, basically, like the Buddhists would say. Like I think that's where it starts, and then how you handle that pain is up to you. And I think that's just kind of life. But it's weird because I think that's usually taken as a compliment, and people who have lost kids and a wife, like we're not looking for compliments. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
people who are grieving, like we don't feel strong, but there is strength there. And I think the strength is there. Like before I lost my wife, son, daughter, brother, nephew, if you were to tell me I were to lose them all, I'd be like, there's no way I could do it. But now that I've done it and it feels like you're going to die and you just might die, but you just kind of somehow keep going. So it just, I have a lot of mixed feelings with it. Is I appreciate it, and I'm glad people think that, but it's also just not how it works in my mind. Like that's just not how I see it at all.
Yeah, I was telling somebody, I listened to something you said a while ago about you don't believe that everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Right. And
I don't believe that.
I know. And I'm like, so many people, that's their thing.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Like, and so why don't you believe that?
Well, I think free will needs to be honored and make sense. And if it's connected to this plan that's already going to happen, I don't know how you can't have both of those. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I believe a lot of things can coexist. Like that's one of the things I've learned through grief. Like I can be miserable and I can be happy at the same time. But a lot of things can't coexist, and I think that's one of them. So I don't know how we respect this idea of we have free will to do what we want. We're master of our domain, like master of our fate. But then also there's a plan. Like I don't know how. So some people think those can work. I don't know how that works for me. And then I think it's ironic because I think a lot of people say that to try to help. It comes from love. Like they see someone hurting and they just want to help. Like this is awful. Like, hey, like everything happens for a reason. Like, doesn't that sound good? But I think it's just by trying to take away the pain, you're disrespecting the pain. Like, you're going to tell me my family was supposed to die in this sandstorm and yours wasn't for this plan? And then, like, everyone uses the extreme examples, and I will too, but, like, we're just going to say the Holocaust was part of the plan? Like, I'm not saying that. I'm never going to say that. That's awful. That's terrible what happened. I don't think kids getting cancer is part of a plan. And if it is, I don't want to be any part of the plan. I'm not with the dude that can control everything. He's all powerful and he's going to give these kids cancer. And then his answer is it will make sense later after you're dead. It sounds like a scam. Like in any other aspect of your life, if you were buying a car, if you were buying a house and they told you you'll get it after you die, would you ever buy anything?
Right. Yeah.
So that's just kind of, I have a lot of thoughts on that, but those are some of them.
That's your truth. And that's one of the things I really admire about you is, man, you've always spoken your truth. And I mean, it's so obvious, like you have like a high level of resiliency, and I've been around a lot of people who been through so many different things. And I, there's some people that would say if, they lost their family, they're pretty much their kids, wife, brother, nephew. There's people that say that they couldn't like live on past that, or even live on past losing one person.
Yeah.
Like, so to like lose so many people in your life at one time, like how were you able to like continue to like move on and not just like end your own life? Because I mean, people could easily say, I just couldn't live anymore and just, I want to end it.
Yeah, when people are like I'm, suicidal, I deal with suicide ideation, I want to kill myself. Like, yeah, like,
Yeah. Yeah, right.
yeah, like and before it was like, no, like, no, no, no. And now it's like, you're making a lot of good points here. And like, so I have that part and I'm still struggling with that part. Like today's Riggins' birthday. And part of me just is really wondering, like, why can't we die and just be with him? Like, or not be with him. We'll just be done and the pain will be over and we're done with this. I still have that part. And so part of me is struggling with that. But then to answer your question, it's definitely my son, Blue, who survived the car crash. That's why I'm still here is Blue. And then with Blue, I realized like, okay, like not killing myself isn't enough. Like that's not being a good dad. And I went through a phase of I was mad at everyone else because they wanted me to stop drinking and do this and do that. And I thought I was doing good. Like, I'm not dead. Screw you guys. Like, I am doing so good. Like, I am a good dad. And I wasn't. Like, I was just, could barely be in my own body. But, so I realized, like, I have to actually try again and, like, want to care and fall in love again and be a good dad and laugh. I have to laugh with them like, and not pretend like since I have to give him a sincere laugh and a hug, and I have to show him this is what you do when you get knocked down. You get back up. And another thing I'm trying to show Blue is you just have to ask for help. Like, and it's just not the coolest thing to say, and it's not the manliest thing to say, but like, man, doing podcasting, meeting people like you, like as sad as my story is, also discovering how lucky I am. Like the support group I have, the money I received. Do you like so many people I have on my podcast, I think look at me and like, how are you still this? And like, well, I have a lot of things you don't have that people don't see. And that's another thing, like when you started the quote with the warrior guy, like that's just another thing. Like I have an army. Like I'm not this solo warrior, like just kicking ass. Like Ryan does most of 1090. I just show up and talk and cry, and then he does everything else. Sammy helps me with Blue. Mike, like I'm just getting help in every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
And before, like the Mason before that lost his family would just have a really difficult time asking for help. Can I keep talking? I have some more things I want to say.
You could do as much talking as you want, man.
But like,
this is your moment, man.
One thing. So one thing that I just believe in is help. Like we is greater than me. Like there's this two-way street. Like there's this we, and then there's this me, and I've received so much help and so much love and support that now I have to try to give that back. And I've been helped so much that I have to help a lot. And so I don't know, I feel like I'm just trying to give back in a lot of ways too. But that's honest to God. The truth is I could not do this alone. There is no way. And if it was different circumstances, if I came from a different family, different community, I don't know where I'd be, honestly. I might be in prison. I might be dead. I might have no idea.
Yeah. And so now, like, what drives you for, like, what work that you do now aside from the podcast, or what callings do you find that you're doing that help you get through day to day? Because for me, the way I kind of deal with all my trauma and everything is through my work, and podcasting is one. Speaking, writing, going and volunteering and helping kids, and going into the prisons, and like that helps me, to deal with my own pain and trauma, like the service.
Yeah.
How about you?
Being a dad, dude, I think that's just, it's my favorite thing, and
it's what you always wanted.
It's always I remember, wanted, man. And I still have that. I still have that. And then I love the quote, life's 10% what happens to you and 90% what you're going to do about it.
Yeah.
And like if you knew my wife, like she was so nice, man. She'd help anyone. And my brother, if you knew him, he'd never quit. And so I just feel like the people I'm trying to honor, and the person Kortni was she would take a bad situation and find the good in it or make something good happen from it. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm trying to do is, what happened to my family is awful. Yeah. But if I can make something good out of it, like this conversation or help someone or whatever it might be, I feel super close to Kortni because that's who she was. And that makes me feel good. And I just believe in that. I think everyone, you lose a kid, you lose a job, you go to prison, like unfair, bad, terrible things are going to happen to you. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? That's the question.
Yeah. There's since I've been doing my podcast, I'm almost 40 episodes in, and haven't been doing it even. It went by so quick, the amount of time, but I found that there's a lot of younger people that listen to it, and even some kids in the foster care system, like who in some aspect lost their family or never even knew a family, and now they're young and 12, 13, 14 years old, and they're in a group home, and they're waiting to hopefully find a family to go to, or they're just staying at the group home until they age out, or they're going to go in the system, in prison, whatever. And they listen to this, and they may not know about you and your story and what you've went through and what you've overcome and stuff. And so it's something that I had a realization today, actually, that so I got out of prison on June 25th, 2021. And exactly, I walked out into a world that was new to me. And exactly 1 month later, July 25th, 2021, on this side of the world, is when the tragedy happened in your life. So for those who don't know, like these kids who may be listening to this right now, can you just walk us through what happened?
Yeah, so I was a basketball trainer, hooper, believe it or not.
Really?
Most people say I look like a skateboarder or a wrestler, which I love. Like, all right, cool.
Skateboarder, yeah. Wrestler, I don't see so much.
Yeah, all right. Maybe I got, a little too confident with the wrestler. But anyway, I love basketball, and so I coached a little bit of high school, and then I got offered this really cool job in southern Utah, where I was the skills trainer, and then I'd put AAU teams together and coach and travel with these AAU teams, and got paid better than a high school teacher. So took the job, and my wife got a nursing job when we moved, and we were loving it, man. We had these new careers that we both loved. We had 3 kids. Riggins was our oldest, and then Blue, and then Franki was our daughter. And every summer we go on a family reunion. And I just took this job at Nets on Fire as this basketball trainer. So I told my family, I'm like, hey, we're not going to be able to go this year to the family reunion because it's the same weekend as our first basketball tournament. I have to coach, and I just feel like I can't miss the first tournament. I just took this job. And they're very understanding. They're, oh, yeah, like, no worries. And then my wife, Kortni, the day before the family reunion, she's like, hey, I think I'm going to go. You're going to be coaching all weekend. I have 3 kids. They'll love it. We'll be back Sunday. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm like, you should ask my brother, Race, if his family's going or if you guys can follow each, because it's a 4-hour drive. So I'm like, maybe you guys can follow each other, carpool, whatever. So she calls my brother Race, and he has the same thing going on. So he's going, and his youngest son, Ryder, are going. His wife, Keisha, son, Rand, daughter, Faith, aren't going. So they stay home. So they go to the family reunion. And then on that Sunday coming back, they were driving through Fillmore, Utah. There was a big sandstorm that kicked up. Didn't last very long. I think it only lasted a few minutes, but it blanketed the highway. It caused a 22-car pileup. 8 people died, and 5 of those 8 people were my family. So my wife, Kortni, my son, Riggins, my daughter, Franki, my brother, Race, and my nephew, Ryder, were all killed, and my son, Blue, survived. He had like a deep cut on his head, but nothing serious. And then he had a broken hand. But that was it. We spent one night in the hospital and then left. Yeah, and so that was kind of my death and birth and a lot of things that day, and trying to find my feet and what direction to move in ever since. Yeah, that's kind of... You know, therapy got me talking, and so then I found the power of talking about it and then crying about it. Like, wow, this actually just really helps. And God, like that just felt so good, dude. I remember like the first time I mean, it felt awful too, but like after, like I just liked it. Like, man, talking and crying felt good. And so my therapist kind of helped me show that talking about it helps. And what my therapist also did is, because I just felt broken, shock, denial, anger, wanted to die. And I just felt useless, worthless, like I should die. And then my therapist is like, we need you. And it was just like this complete flip, like, oh, like he saw value in me. Like he's like, Mason, like, we need you. And that was like a cool feeling that I needed, like this feeling of worth again, or like, wow, like there's actually people like me. I'm not alone. And then talking is such a superpower because it's given me everything. It's given me relationships with you. It's how I found my girlfriend Sammy. It's replaced therapy. And it's just hard. It's hard being a guy talking about this type of stuff, which leads to tears and being vulnerable and asking for help and doing all those things is just so anti-masculine. You know, it's just a complete change of kind of what I was taught. But that's where all my strength is, man, is just being honest and vulnerable and showing people, man, like can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
So I was doing a podcast with this girl, and she was giving birth, shoulder dystophia, so the baby got caught. And so this baby basically suffered for about 42 days. And then the parents basically had to kill their own child to take it off life support. Just like the worst story. And this mom, I'm like, so how, like, we're talking and she's like, yeah, like, I'm not doing good. Like, I drink so much and I just numb. And she looks at me and she's like, how'd you get through that or something? And I just looked at her and I'm like, oh, I numb every day. I smoke weed every day. And just admitting that instead of acting like, oh, let me give you the 3, 2, 1 steps of like, instead of that, it was like, oh, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I am numbing a lot still. And the look on her face, and like, she took a breath of relief, like, oh, like, thank you. And there's power in that, man. Like, there's power in what you think these weaknesses are. And it's amazing. Like, if you just show a light on these demons, like, they turn into like your friends almost. Like, it flips everything. Now, the other thing I've learned is, talking is really helpful. But if you open up to the wrong people who can't listen and can't sit in it with you, that is a recipe for a disaster. And so that sucks.
Yeah.
And so you need to talk, but men are so vulnerable because they know the only thing worse than not talking about it is you talk about it and no one gives a shit. Or people, they give you advice and you don't want advice. You just want a hug. And usually men, a guy, they'll never open up again. The rest of their life, they'll take everything to the grave.
Yeah.
And they're done with that shit.
Yeah.
So, you got to find people you can trust and open up to, and you really have to trust people, man. And that's scary.
Yeah, I had to like redefine what I once thought being a man was when I first went into prison. It was just like, yeah, you can't show any emotions.
That's a whole other.
Yeah, it's like I remember the only 2 times I was able to really cry, was in the shower, and then late at night when everybody was asleep, and even then you had to
you gotta be quiet,
mask it, right? It's like and so I grew up thinking that, and when I got out and like you start to speak about everything that I went through, I start to feel like, man, this is powerful, and be vulnerable and be okay with shedding tears and stuff. And I realized, like, man, this is really what being a man is. And it actually, so last time I was here, I didn't have the book that I gave you, Warrior in the Garden. I didn't have that yet. And I wrote that book in 6 months, and it kind of just flew out of me because of all the incredible men that I had met when I got out, including you and all these other men that I encountered that were just so like inspirational to me, mentors, just helped me to see things differently, my perspective. And so I wanted to write the book because in the book I talk about what you said, like just that it's okay for a man to be vulnerable and to be able to open up and talk about things and to be able to cry and to be able to be like, I need help, all those things. And so I put it in the book. And like I said, you were a part of that, me inspiring me to do that, because I wanted to make sure that the young men that I was mentoring and the young men that were going to look up to me and look up to us, and for, your son and everything, they have a framework of some sort that they really need to, a guide to help them and what it means to be a man today in this day and age. So yeah, I completely agree with that. And I also think that when you're able to speak on things and open up, it helps the other person that you're speaking to as well. So you're helping them. So whoever your therapist was, like, I'm pretty sure like through that process, you've made him a better, more grateful human being to where he can then serve others better. So it's like this exchange of like just energy between people and advice and mentorship that's powerful. And so like that's what podcasting allows us to do, is we do that and we let other people listen to it. And so it's a really powerful thing. And but the one thing I feel that a lot of men struggle with is like, how do you know when you find the right person to open up to? Like, I got a guy that I speak to. We do weekly sessions and we speak through things. And his name is Dan. And it took me a long time to get comfortable with me speaking about things, but with him, I feel that. And with you and your therapist, like when you was that like somebody, as soon as you found him, you knew, or did you have to go through a process of talking to multiple people? And how did you know?
Good question, man. I saw probably 3 or 4 therapists before Matt, my buddy, my therapist now, and they just weren't great.
Right.
They're just very robotic. How many hours are you sleeping type of thing. I'm just like, I don't like. And Matt, and I love what you said about how do you know like who you can trust, who do you open up to? And I couldn't open up to any of these therapists because those were what they were asking me. I'm like, I'm not. How do I just drop in with what I want to say with that? Like,
yeah.
But Matt, he didn't ask me any of that. He asked me about Metallica at first because I had a Metallica shirt on. He's like, oh, like, what album? And we're just talking. And then he just talks about when he lost his best friend when he was a teenager. Mm-hmm. And he starts crying. Mm-hmm. And these are genuine tears. Like, he's not putting on a show. Like, he's feeling this and he's talking about it. And then he kind of just wraps it up and kind of looks at me. And then for the first time, I talked about the night of the accident. And it took me a while to realize what Matt did, but he didn't ask me to talk. He didn't say, tell me what's bothering you. Tell me about that. It's the golden rule, like treat other people how you want to be treated. So here's a therapist and he knows, like, I need Mason to open up. So if I want him to open up, what do I have to do? I have to open up.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And the minute he created that safe space was the first time I did it. And it's funny because if I'm outside of the podcast room, I don't talk about it. I hardly ever talk about it unless it's with Blue and Sammy and I'm talking about stories of Kortni, Riggins, and Franki, but I hardly ever talk about it because I don't trust people.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't a safe space. I don't know how you're going to react. I don't know what you're going to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm not in a strong enough headspace where if it goes bad, I'm just going to handle it okay. Like, I'm going to be really hurt. So, like, I can't even, I would get very shut off. I can't open myself up in a lot of settings. But that's the beauty of therapy and podcasting. Or, like, if you can carve out an hour or whatever it is, and like, this is the date, this is the time, this is a safe place, you're going to be heard, and you can talk about it. That's one of the best reasons those things exist is, you know, I don't think it's what's being said just so much as it's the atmosphere. You feel like you can talk and be heard. Men need that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the space that's created that one can be open and be able to talk about that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. And I always wanted to ask you about like how you and Kortni met. Like how did you guys are like high school sweethearts?
We were high school, dude. It's so funny because I love ball, dude, and I wanted to go to the NBA. And then, you know, I think I was in the 8th grade, and I'm like, there's not a lot of 5'10" white kids in the NBA. Like, I don't know, but maybe I can play college ball. Anyway, like I wanted to play ball, and so I saw girls as a distraction. Like, no. But then I met Kortni in high school. My buddies went to go check out this senior girl that they thought was super hot in volleyball practice, right? Because they got the volleyball uniforms on. So we go over there, and they're all checking out this one girl, and then I see Kortni. I'm like, who is that? And then my buddy David, he is dating her sister. And so then he's like, oh, that's Kortni. And so he's like, we should double date, blah, blah, blah. And so then me and Kortni kind of started hanging out. And we first started hanging out when we were 15. And we never broke up. We never, you know, people are like, marriages are hard. And like, yeah, but no. Like, not really. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, like you argue about like, that's not how you load the dishwasher. What the fuck are you doing? But like, sure, we had that, but like, I don't know. She was my best friend, man. And just laughing. And we were just never, I could be my true self with her. And I miss the way she loved me. And like dude, I met her when I was 15. She knew me in middle school, high school. Like she just knew everything about me, you know, like the good, the bad, absolutely everything. And she loved every part of me. Yeah. She loves sports. So like I played basketball and she played volleyball, like I said, and basketball and softball. So very athletic girl, very pretty, just a great ass, like just great. And she was everything, man. Then she was a great nurse. She was my sugar mama. She made great money, dude. Like she made just as much as I did as a high school teacher, and she'd work 3 days a week as a nurse, man. And I would just give her my paycheck and play with the kids and laugh with her. And sorry, I don't know if I did a great job. I just kind of all these memories popped in, but that's kind of how I met Kortni. Was kind of through a friend. Also saw her at that volleyball practice. And miss her every day, dude. And I think losing a kid is just, because the other thing I struggle with is I don't really like, what's the feeling of losing a kid? What's the feeling of losing a spouse? What's the feeling of losing a brother? What's the feeling of losing a nephew? It's all lumped together. So I have a really hard time even really know what I'm mourning and grieving, because it's just this lump of all of them. But I think just the gut punch of losing 2 kids, and I say this about Race, my brother, a lot, and my nephew Ryder. Like, I honestly just haven't been able to get to him too much. Like, I'm just so hurt over my kids, and I hate to say it, but I'm a little bit that way with Kortni too. Like, I am so much shock with that, and I think part of the reason I'm in so much shock is she was just such a good person. And I know everyone says that about their wife that dies, but no, like she was legit so good. And so it's just like it should have been me. Like, I thought being good mattered. I thought it honestly mattered. I thought if you were a good person, luck, karma, God, something. And like, no. And I think that's a painful lesson that I've learned with Kortni is she was the purest form of good. Like she helped people not for a reward, not to be seen, just to do it. And that's what being good is. And I think that's grief. Like if I handle this grief well, I'm probably not going to get them back. You know, they're dead. Probably not going to change the world. No, you know, most people aren't going to know my name and I'll be forgotten. And 100 years from now, all my kids, like, I'm going to be forgotten. But it's up to me. Like, with the time I have here, I can try to make something good. I can try to help. And I love that about me. Because before I lost Kortni, I thought I was going to get some. I did it because to avoid hellfire or to get a bigger mansion in heaven or out of fear or out of greed. And now it's pure goodness. Like, I'm not going to get anything. But you have a decision to make. You can choose good or bad.
Do you think that there's meaning in life? Like, what is the meaning of life? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I think about that every day, dude.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty sure there's no meaning, and it's up to you to make what it means. And it's funny because that's literally the world we live in. Like, we have different perspectives. Like, even my story. Like, you could take my story. You could interview everyone in my family, and they'd have different. Why did it happen? And like, it'd be totally different for everyone. So we all see everything different with our own perspective. But for my honest, you weren't here. There's no reason why you're here. I don't know why you're here. I don't know how we got here. I don't know where we're going. But you have today, and you have some decisions to make. And that's it, dude. But nothing means anything. It's up to you.
What are some of the conversations you have with Blue? Like, when you mentor him as a father, what kind of discussions do you have, and what things do you tell him?
So every night when I tuck him in, I ask him 3 questions. I say, Blue, what do you do when you get knocked down? And he says, you get back up. And then I say, is life fair? He's like, no, life's not fair. And then the 3rd question is, I just ask him to pick a number 1 through 10. And then whatever number he picks, he always picks 10. That's how many kisses I give him. So I did that for a while. I honestly believe parenting is a lot of just give them space, honestly. Like, let them make decisions and then they'll find out for themselves type of thing, instead of just being so hands-on like I used to. But another thing I mentor Blue that I think helps is the way I listen to him. I didn't do that before. Like, it's phone down, it's eye contact, and I'm legit asking him, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay here with me, or do you want to go with Sammy? Like, he is involved very much in everything, and I love that. And so I think he feels heard and he feels listened to. And I think because of that, he has so much confidence. I mean, he just to try all these things. And then we love skateboarding, dirt bike, anything that you fail a lot. I love talking about failure. And I remember he's skateboarding and he took this hard fall. Like, he went down hard and he's looking up at me and I'm like, Blue, that's why all these other kids, and I'm like panning around the skate park and he's like looking. He's like, that's why all these other kids are now riding scooters. And I just let that sit for a minute. I'm like, it hurts. No one else wants to get up after this. They want a handle on the board, which is cool. Like, you can do that. But if you get up and you keep going, like, you'll learn how to skateboard. And I'm learning how to juggle. And I just juggle it like he was watching TV. And I love juggling because you fail, at least at the beginning. I fail every 3 seconds. It's just failure after failure. And I just tell him, like, you have to keep going. And then I just tell Blue, or I'll tell Sammy in front of Blue, like, look how much better I'm going. I can do it for 10 seconds now. And just I think with grief's the same thing. Anything, like, it takes practice, it takes effort. Like, you have to do it. And the last thing I would say is, as much as I love talking and as much as I believe in the power of words, with kids, it's monkey see, monkey do. Like, the model that they see is everything. Yeah. And so that is really scary, especially for me dealing with grief, when there's a lot of things, when I'm numbing and crying, there's things I'm trying, how do I balance this with Blue? Because I want to be honest and open, but I can't show him all this pain at once. Like, it would just drown him. So I think just trying to model and just knowing he's watching everything I do. But once I've understood the power of modeling, like, so our teacher, we go to a parent-teacher conference, and they're like, Blue's doing great. He needs to get better at reading. We're like, great. The old me would have gone home like, Blue, let's read this book. Help him sound it out and get frustrated and blah, 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 and try to get him to read. Instead, I just went home that night, and I sat right in the living room couch so he could see me, and I grabbed a book, and I started reading. And what did he do that night?
Yeah.
He asked me to read a book with him.
Yeah. I love that.
I love that too. Like,
inspired him instead of telling him, inspire him to.
If I truly believe that reading's good, I would be reading. So I can't tell him, Blue, reading this, reading that, and then I never read.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah. It's such a simple answer. It's such a simple move to make, but people make things too complicated. And I think sometimes it's always like a simple answer to a complex situation. And that's what I because I'm not a dad, but I always said if I was, then I would never want to tell my kids to do something. I would want them to be inspired to do it, or to, and obviously that comes with me leading by example and doing it myself, like reading. And so that's a great piece of advice. And how do you like learn that? Is it just,
I'm 34. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm 34. Dude, the last couple years, it's like those progressive commercials. Like, we can't help you. Like, we can't prevent you from turning into your parents. Have you seen those commercials? Like,
yeah.
Like, I've realized that I'm just becoming my dad and my mom. Like, I'm just this regurgitated, like, are we even people or just this robotic? Like, you just become your parents, I think. And so when I started to feel that, and then as Blue's gotten older, like this year for his birthday when he was turning 8, he was just so excited the whole day. Like, when are my friends coming over? And I could just remember that. Like, oh, I could remember turning 8. And so I can feel like I'm becoming my parents. I can remember being a child like Blue. And as I'm talking about this, I forgot. Oh, yeah, I remember your question now. And so I think I've kind of seen the bigger picture of, oh, I'm acting like this because this is what my dad did. And Blue's acting like this because that's what I did. And so I think that's where I found this is real. Like, this is generational being passed down. And what impact am I going to do on this chain that's being passed down with my family? Like, what impact am I going to have that makes it the same and maybe makes it a little different? But I think that's where I learned that, is just becoming who I've always looked up to my dad, and so becoming him. And I think it just feels full circle.
I mean, obviously your parents, they're still around. So a lot of your parents, they obviously suffered as well with the tragedy. Right. I mean, it reminds me of kind of like a situation that I had to come to a realization on, which was when I started to talk about my story, people would not really acknowledge the ripple effect of what happened with me. For example, like what my parents went through, losing a son, right?
Right.
Like because you kind of become like this figure of like, everybody's like, oh man, poor you, like, oh man, like, sorry. But there's all these other people that were impacted by these events, right?
More than you'll even know.
Yeah, exactly. And so, your parents, I now that I'm reconnected with my parents and I've forgiven them and I'm moving forward and we're reconnecting, like how are they doing and how big of a role did they play in you helping you when after everything happened, and how you guys were able to do that together?
Yeah, like I slept at my parents' house last night. Woke up, came here. But we've been through a lot. Like it's been hard on us. We definitely don't see eye to eye on everything, especially when it comes to God and those things, which makes things awkward. But I just think the love we have for each other, the pain we have connected through what we've lost, has obviously brought us super close. And then, I just think getting older, you just appreciate your parents more. Like, they were going through a lot when they were raising me, like their own stuff plus kids. And so I think the older I've gotten, you just get a little more understanding or appreciative of what they gave me. And I truly have great parents. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say. Like they're truly great. And that's the, God, like dude, I had it so good, man, until I was 30 and they all died. Like, I don't even know what my biggest obstacle was. Like, I had great parents, great family, great wife, great kids of my own when I got old enough. Like, it was smooth sailing for me. And then, obviously, the car crash. But, yeah, my parents, I love them, and I don't know where I'd be without them. And the way that they were able to help me as they were grieving as well is super impressive. So,
yeah. And today's Riggins' birthday, right?
Yeah, he'd be 10.
10 today.
I'm going to a Dropkick Murphys concert tonight.
Yeah.
Riggins loved their song Rose Tattoo. Because it's kind of like a chanting song, Rose Tattoo and a rose and so he could actually, it's a song he could remember and sing along.
Yeah.
And he like, Dad, play Rose Tattoo. And anyway, so I'm really hoping they play that song. But yeah, we have some ideas of how to honor him. I was talking to Blue this morning, like, it's Riggins' birthday, and I made a post of Riggins. So I'm like, come here, like, here's these videos I posted. And he's just smiling, laughing. And then he asked, he's asked me about Riggins, and I'm telling him. And then we talk about what should we do today for Riggs. And he wanted to go bowling because Riggs did like bowling. And I'm like, yeah, we can go bowling. So we might go bowling later, but I don't know what you're going to ask me, but yeah, it's his birthday. And yeah.
If he was still here, what would you tell him at this age? He's 10 now, right?
10. I was thinking about this. Like, what would he look like? What would he sound like? What would we be doing? What would I tell him? Honestly, I'd probably be like, we'd shoot hoops, and I'd probably tell him something wrong with his form or something. Like, I don't know what I would have done before, but now I would just hug him, cry. Like, I don't know what I'd do, but because it's hard, because like when you're in the moment, you don't know they're gonna die. So it's like when you're with them, you don't know, like, I'm not gonna see you ever again. And so, like, I am happy with who I was as I don't have regrets of, I wish I spent more time with Riggs, or I wish I spent all my time with my kids and family. And I think death, one thing that it really will teach you is how much you love them. Like, damn, like, I love Riggins this much. Like, it hurts this much. And so you just want to feel the pain because you feel that connection with them. But then, they want you to be happy, and you try to be happy too. Yeah. And we named Riggins after a character on a TV show, Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you ever watched it, but the character in the show, we just loved him. And then that show had a saying that the character would say a lot, which was clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. And that we loved it so much, that's why we named Riggins. And that whole quote is basically, if you have clear eyes, meaning you know your purpose, you know who you are, you're going to stay true to who you are, rain or shine. Like, this is what you believe in, And no matter what happens, I have these clear eyes. Like, that's it. And then full heart, like, you give it everything you got.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you can control. You can't control the scoreboard. You can't control the ref. You can't control life. You can't control any of that. But you can control your heart, like how much you care and how much you're going to try. So if you have clear eyes and a full heart, you can't lose ever. Even if, the enemy's stronger than you, that doesn't really matter because you kept your clear eyes. You gave it absolutely everything you had. So what else do people want from you?
Yeah.
And now that he's dead, that quote just hits really hard. And it kind of went from a corny, fun quote to like, now it's like, damn, like I really do believe in that. And I think it's true. And I think that's true for Riggs. Like if I have clear eyes and I always can remember who he was and what we believed in, and if I can keep talking about him and sharing stories about him, then maybe he's, in a way, he's not, fully lost.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Do you know what your purpose is? Do you believe you have one?
Just being a dad, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny because podcasting is great. I like who's the most influential podcaster? Let's say it's Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. Me being a good dad to Blue will have a bigger impact on the world than Joe Rogan podcast. Mm. I truly believe that. The generational effect.
Yeah.
If I can have Blue be a good dad and raise good kids one day, and then not like, if I truly want to change the world, that's it. Yeah. It's not a fancy podcast with Carlos, although it helps. Like, this is cool, but like,
yeah.
No, like, let's not get it twisted. Like, if you're trying to make a difference and you have a kid, that's it, man. You go be a good dad.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. I feel the same way when I work with the youth, and I go to like these places that they live in, that foster youth, and they're like in really bad neighborhoods. And, I'm maybe had just came back from speaking at like this great event at a nice hotel where I was staying and all these things. And as good as that is, and the feeling and all that, like nothing compares to that. Like when I'm there, just one-on-one, like knowing that I'm impacting this kid's
relationships.
Life. Yeah,
man. That is it.
Yeah, it's not like how many followers I get, how many likes, how much. It's not that. It's just it's knowing that moment when like, okay, because this kid can very well be like how I was once in my life, when the person came into my life and inspire me and help me to become who I am, and I look at that kid and see that ripple effect he can create, so I completely agree with you on that. And I think that if people were to spend more of their time just focusing on cleaning up their own backyard, in a sense, right? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well said.
Yeah, just that alone is powerful. That's making impact. Make sure your household is good. Make sure your people in your immediate circle, are good. Make sure you could be the best for them. Show up the best you can for them. That's true meaning. That's purpose, right? And so, I think that's beautifully said, man.
Can I ask you a question before I know we're getting to the end here, but
yeah, you could ask me anything.
Cause you asked me at the beginning about I don't know if it was God. Maybe it was God. Yeah, I think it was God. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of on the side of, probably not. I think this life is all you get. I think that's the most beautiful perspective you can have on this life, and that's how you should live. But if I go to a prison where these guys have life sentences, and the Bible really helps them, I think, because it gives them this idea of, if you change your ways and you're good here, then when you die, even though this sucks, it'll be fine. And so I just like, if I gave a public speaking thing out of prison, like how would that be received? Like, my message is, life's 10% what happens to you, 90% what you're going to do about it. There is no heaven. You have life in prison. What are you gonna? Would that be motivating? Would that piss them off? Would they just want to stab me, or like what would or shank me? Sorry, shank me. Like what would? How would that?
It's prison is
because it's the same thing with kids with cancer. Like, I love my message until I meet those people, and I stand by it. Like, I'm sorry you have cancer, but this is why it's sad. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm crying with you.
Yeah.
This is why it's awful that you have cancer and it's not fair. Is life. And so, like, I stand by it. It's just really, really, really sad.
Yeah, yeah. Prison is it's a very unique place because you have a lot of people together, really close encounters with each other, with all different belief systems, all different upbringings, you name it.
So not just Christianity, but
it's everything.
Most people, like, there's not a lot of atheists in prison, though.
There's atheists and there's satanic worshipers.
Oh wow.
There's Christians, there's Muslims, there's Buddhists, there's all kind of religions you haven't even ever heard of. I forgot one of them, but I don't know the name of it. But it's like I've never heard of it, but because once you're able to say this is a religion, they can't deny you that according to like the Constitution. So you can basically say like this is my religion, that's what I believe in, and I can have groups and stuff. So
it kind of gives them rights.
Yeah, but a lot of times those religions are just built off of like we're going to start this religion, but then use it to our advantage to manipulate and do all these things. And so some people use religion as manipulation to hide people.
So it's just like out here.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. But then you have the spiritual people. So in prison, if you were to go in and speak to a group of prisoners, you would. There's a thing that happens in prison, though, aside from religious beliefs. There's like these underlining rules that people just kind of like respect. And people in prison respect those who are just true to like what they believe in, even if it goes against what they believe in. Like this guy over here could be my enemy, and we on the streets we try to kill each other. And even in prison, when things get crazy, we try to kill each other. But if this guy is like, I know like he's gonna die for that. There's like this like hint of respect for that. You know what I mean? So so people in prison, what I've learned is no matter what you do, you may have to go through some bumps and bruises and get shanked like I did. Right? Like I did. But once they see like, okay, he still like believes that and still gonna push that, people are like, all right, I respect that person because that man respects it so much. That's his belief, and he would die for that. So it's kind of like that, and everything is very extreme. But yeah, for me, I just found that like my beliefs have changed through time. As I change and evolve, my beliefs change.
Sure. Yeah.
And now, which is
another reason why I don't like religion.
Yeah,
it puts you in this box. So like, dude, you think that's how the way you think when you're 8 is the way you're going to think when you're 48?
Right.
Like there's just going to be no evolution in your brain? Anyway, sorry. Don't get me started.
That's a whole other podcast. But I know we're wrapping up, man. And it's just really grateful to be here. And so what I do now is I like to, in my podcast, I've been doing it lately, is I like to like end with like some rapid fire questions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of keeps you on. It's
all right, rapid
fire questions. So I have a few that I got. I'm going to ask you. Start off easy. What's your favorite basketball team?
I guess the Jazz.
Damn. I knew it. They had their moment.
In high school, it was the Suns because I loved Steve Nash. And when I was a kid, it was the Bulls because I loved MJ. Yeah. But I guess it's the Jazz now.
Yeah. Are you a Laker fan? No. I mean, not a fan, but what do you think about the Lakers?
I like Lakers. I love Kobe. And I liked it when Steve Nash was there. But no, I'm not a Laker guy.
Yeah. Kobe's actually, it was my favorite player.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe's Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe's Kobe. Okay, what's one thing that inspires you every day?
My son, Blue, my wife, Kortni, my son, Riggins, my daughter, Franki.
Favorite memory with
and sorry, this guy named Maui.
Maui.
Yeah. I had him on my podcast. I literally think about that guy almost every day, at least every other day.
I gotta hear that. I haven't heard that one.
You should listen to his episode on my podcast.
I will.
Yeah.
You know, you're actually, if I was to reverse the question, it was me. You're actually one of those people in my life that inspires me.
Aw.
Like, and I'm not like this.
Don't say that. You're cooler than me, dude. I don't know how to take that.
No, people that know me, they like, you don't even know them. But people that know me will tell you that I've talked about you. That I'm saying like, because as hard as my life was in my perspective, you said everybody has perspective. In my world, in my life, like as much as I went through, like I just truly respect and admire you for like just how you're able to create a podcast and do what you do after everything you went through. Like that for me is just something that I think about all the time when I'm going through things, and I forget to call my mom for 2 or 3 days or people in my life because I'm busy, and I'm just thinking like, man, like what if they're gone, tomorrow, and I didn't get a chance to really appreciate them. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks for saying that, man.
Yeah. Okay. And book, podcast, or quote that recently moved you.
Book. Can I give you 2?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say "Finding the Words" by Colin Campbell, and then "The Obstacle is the Way" by that guy. He writes all the Stoic books. I'm blanking on his name right now. Ryan
Holiday. He's great.
Quote. I mean, I love life's 10% what happens to you, 90% how you respond to it. It's Riggins' birthday, so I have to go with "Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose" again. Yeah. I do love quotes though. But yeah, I'll go with those 2 right now.
Yeah, those are beautiful. And lastly, favorite memory with your family.
Oh man. I was thinking about this today because I don't know if this is my favorite one, but I was just thinking about Riggins' birthday and things we did. And we took our family to San Diego Zoo. And it was just, the trip just ran so smooth. And the kids didn't complain. And it just felt so good. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just, no flat tires, no. It was just a fun. Like Kortni and I talked about that trip a lot. Like it just went so good, and we had a beach trip, or one of the days we went to the beach, and this lady came up to us, and she's like, "Your kids are so cute. Can we photograph them for blah blah blah?" And we're like, "No, like that's weird." But like, thank you. Like so that happened. Like I don't know. It's just a fun trip, and then Kortni and I probably 2 weeks before the car crash, she planned a trip for us, which is rare because we didn't have a lot of money to travel with and just didn't really have time. Like we both work, 3 kids, and she carved out. She's like, "No, we're going." Like because we haven't really done anything since our honeymoon because we got married and started having kids, and so anyway, she plans this trip, just me and her, and oh man, that trip meant so much. And when I was on that trip, I had a friend pass away. He drowned. And so my buddies called me, and so we're just devastated on this trip, and we start talking about death, and we start having this conversation about what we would do if one of us died. The car crash is going to happen 2 weeks from now. Yeah. We didn't talk about if 2 kids died as well, and Race and Ryder, but I just value that time alone with her for the few days we had and that conversation so much. I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but yeah, like some things happen like that. It's like, man, like how do that happen? Yeah. So those are a couple that came to my mind, but honestly, like, bedtime. Kortni and I didn't really have like a set bedtime. It was just kind of like, all right, like it's 10 o'clock now, and we just let the kids run around and play, and we'd stay up. I'm so glad we did that. Like,
yeah,
these parents have, it's 8 o'clock, like the sun's still up. It's 8 o'clock, you're going to bed. I'm like, oh God, like. So I don't know. For me, it's just the lifestyle we had and the home we had, and coming home to so much noise and energy and movement. And now it's, you come home to just you and Blue, and so yeah, I just miss all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I like those rapid fire questions. We might have to use those.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much.